Okay, so let's get into that. This webinar is part of the series of how to make your managed service provider future-proof, but any service provider per se. The question on this section today is going to be like how to scale consulting services. And for mostly managed services have some kind of baggage with the consulting services because they have been giving away that for free for a while, and it's not easy to charge for clients for consulting type services, project management services. Pre-sales service can be pretty long because the client doesn't know what they want. So it's a lot of problems around this theme. And besides the differentiation marketing and the sales, it's one of the biggest deal for managed service providers. So basically the idea in general, in a bigger context, that how to apply a better strategy for being a managed service provider. Managed service providers are kind of being a little bit of disrupted with like lower level service providers, or in generally the explosion of the costs of hiring technology people. So the disruptive strategy for that is actually adding more consultative processes to that without actually increasing the headcount. So how to make it scalable. So today we're going to go through the consulting part, like how the consulting is going to be scalable. But if you're interested on the sales and the marketing, just go to the website and you can download these webinar recordings as well. So three major challenges we are going to solve by the end of this webinar. One is more consulting is needed from the customers. That's a fact. Basically, each and every complex cloud migration, cybersecurity requires more education, more alignment, more understanding their details, understanding their business. So that's why a lot of extra consultation you guys are going on. Second thing is that most managed service providers do not have any real monetization model, how to actually capture those pre-sales services, project recommendations, project management services, which is inevitably going into these activities. And also, like, there is not such a thing as how to deliver these services, like a standard operating procedure. Each and every MSP have figured out how to scale the service desk and tickets and things like that, but like how to do this without specifics and lack of automation training is hard. So it's gonna be fun today that we're gonna step back a little bit and see actually what prevents us to do that. And after that, we can have some resolution for that. But the business impact is severe because if you guys are going to go away more free service, that's not just like you're losing money on that very transaction, but you are teaching the client as well that, you know, buying consulting service from this MSP, it's free, or like it's part of the package. It's like why I would think about. But when they pick up the phone and call their lawyer or CPA firm, they know they're gonna be charged like $300 per hour, no problem. But if they call the IT guys or your MSP, they don't even think about it. Oh, that's included, right? So that's going to be a problem. Second, the perceived value is going to be lower because they don't attach monetary transaction for that. So they are just feeling that's free, like they deserve that. And actually, it's a hard, the problem is the bottleneck of how you grow. So as we go through, guys, I see a couple of questions here. These are going to be answered by the end, but please put those questions up to the Q&A, so I'm going to monitor that. So if it's relevant, I can answer that through the webinar. Awesome. So we're going to go through three different aspects today. Is first of all, how to actually redefine consultation itself and start a new narrative for digital consultation, like how cybersecurity projects can be part of digital consultation, how modernization of infrastructure can be part of a digital consultation. So we're going to create somewhat like a different narrative. You're able to separate what is IT and can be done separately, easily, and what is actually when you need separate threats of consultation. Second, we're going to see how to standardize these offer, same thing as you standardize your managed service offering, and how to standardize the service delivery. So we have to talk about the value proposition, then the offering, and then the delivery. So that's going to be the three kind of like its tool, let's say, to make everything right. So first of all, let's dive into the definition of digital consultation. So you IT people did and do a great job to implement different technology solutions. It can be a firewall, it can be a desktop, it can be a fairly sophisticated cloud solution. What usually is the common denominator is that you are able to deliver these services across multiple sides of organizations and multiple verticals, meaning that you do not really need a whole lot of input and conversation with the client to deploy those type of technology solutions. Let's say you are doing like a super crazy Microsoft Office, Microsoft Teams implementation with 5 systems and stuff like that. It's still gonna be the same thing for a lawyer firm than a CPA firm or for a manufacturing firm. It's gonna be somewhat like the same for a 25 people, 50 people organization. So what that means, those type of activities are basically can be remaining into this little bucket of technology solution. You don't need really to go into their business processes. Okay, so let's teach you, if you send a proposal to your client, this is how you use Microsoft Teams, and this is what's the process you are not really doing that. You are giving them the infrastructure, and then they can use it, and they figure out how their processes are going to be improved. Same thing, really rarely you are teaching people, educating people, coaching people, plan with them how to implement those things. You are just basically giving them the tools, and you have sets of toolbox you offer. But when we talk about a digital solution, all three has to be in place. And many times it's not your fault, but Microsoft Teams implementation is a failure because of these two reasons. The tools are there, but nobody's using that, or they don't know how to use that, or they use it on their legacy systems or whatever. So the issue is that you are part of a bigger scheme. And if you are not able to expand and control these two additional ideas, then it's just a simple technology service. And we see in the market, and you might see that the clients actually require both management, not just the technology, but all the others. So this is basically a little framework. You can like take a screenshot and go with a client if you have a meeting with them and try to hone in with a CRM. It's a simple example. That can be a good example, or Microsoft Teams, doesn't matter, to see a digital solution. So our idea here, and what multiple MSPs are using really successfully, is that redefine your role. That our MSP program is within this bucket, but you need more, then we can expand this whole thing, but that's going to be digital consultation. So you introduce a new term, and this new term can be start expanding their idea as well, that, oh, that's not what we sign up for. Second, digital transformation. So if you have a digital solution for their leadership team, their marketing, their sales, their operation, their finance, like multiple of those are going on, that's a lot of like cross-functional, shaky, hard projects. And this is the reason that if we talk about digital transformation, most of your clients are going through this already, and you have them supporting them. But basically, it's completely how these organizations, brick and mortar, old school companies are going to be digital, and what that means. It's not just internally digital. It's not just like digitizing, papers to forms and things like that. It's basically how to capture new markets, how to get into marketplaces, social media for their growth, how they are leveraging like additional supporting softwares and applications from vendors, like banking applications, currency exchange applications, whatever, into their processes. And these are likely not really technical issues. It's business processes and how to implement and integrate these into their organization. So that's a huge amount of work needs to be done on the top level of the organization. This is not done by a geek. This is not done by their lower level, office managers. That's like strategic initiatives going through that. So now you can claim that you just did all this digital solution bottom part, you remember the technology piece, but digital consultation can be applicable for managing those projects along the way. And you don't have to go through way out of your comfort zone and way out of your, swim lanes. This is just basically start getting those type of activities, which is like identify different projects and have them to keep things going. And it's not a whole lot of extra management. What you haven't done before is just packaging in a way that it's applicable for them. So basically the idea here is that you are sitting on the bottom of this pyramid as a base. Technology transformation, IT service provider, you are doing that. Transform the underlying technology infrastructure so the data applications are available. This is your wheelhouse here. On the other hand, your executive members in your clients are thinking about transform product, marketing, sales, finance, HR. Holy smokes, we can like hire people from Philippines through online systems they can use. We can use them. Oh, how we do that? Oh, we have these financial, tools available, not sending money through banks, but likewise and whatever different service providers. Like these guys are thinking about that. But there is a gap between, which we call a digital advisor, which you can be a digital advisor. You can gravitate or elevate yourself to become a digital advisor, which is basically going through how to transform the way the company collaborate within each other, right? Interact with customers, markets, analyze data. So basically this is the critical component who is joining and who is like bridging the gap between this whole technology layer and the business goal layer. And it's going to be you, that's going to be you. If that's going to be a business consultant, that's going to be a business consultant. We advocate that MSPs should claim their space and move up a little bit because then you can have more control. And other than that, that's going to be the money is on the infrastructure anyhow. You are not going to make a huge amount of money on consulting, but the consulting give you the control to get as a profit center 10% of your revenue, let's say, 90% revenue is coming from this. But you have to make it real. So that's why digital consultation is important. And basically, that's the whole thing for the problem resolution as like what type of problems you solve, and also like what type of transformation you're gonna have them pushing through. So that's why this digital consultation is important. So make it a little bit more practical, what that means, right? One of the keywords of that is plan, because most of these activities between those lines are going to be somewhat like a planning, helping them to plan or just do the plan. Two types of plan you can have: a point solution, when you actually pinpointing one solution, or you create for them like a more broader plan. I'm going to show you because we're going to go through both of them in the next section. Oops. One of them, the green item, green colored bad boy, is what we call a DX Discovery Workshop. We made it as a name. Oh, that's a workshop, right? That's a service, that's a product. That's gonna be somewhat like you can create standard operating procedures around, but solving the problem that The executive team identified a problem: lack of sales, lack of growth, lack of productivity. People are not having, workflows, and implement a digital solution. And they don't know what to implement or how to implement. There are a lot of technological, reasons. There are applications out there, but they are not comfortable. They don't have time. A lot of problems are occurring, and that process, that digital process, can be eliminated. That can be done by you. And just to scope, this thing is 10 hours of work for an advisor. We're going to go through one meeting, two meeting, a little bit work, third meeting. So it's not like 50, 60, 100 hours of education and everything. No, it's a really specific service you can teach to people, and they can do that. Same thing with the digital maturity assessment, which is basically a kind of wraparound to create a digital plan for them. Many times, if we say you need a plan, they don't, need that, or they don't feel that they are there. But if you do an assessment, the assessment is actually generating the action plan. So the outcome is the same, but that's like a 3 meeting, 8 hours work. So it's really easy that if you know what a consultation can achieve, then you're able to create the SOP, standard operating procedure. You are able to sell it on your website. Even like on our website, Digital Maturity Group website, digital services, under digital services, you see the same thing. Digital solution plan. If I go to digital solution plan, which is basically a project plan, now we can create like a little nice 2-minute video to tell about the story and, explaining how that's working, give the whole idea to a name, even price and package it, and show outcomes. Now that's going to be somewhat like more as a product. So we're going to get into the details there, but I wanted to make sure that we aligned on not every consulting created equal. There are certain type of processes you need to do to have those plans. So your bottom part is secure. You have a roadmap. You can implement modernization projects, everything, because that's the goal for that. Other than that, it's going to be always like something broke, and go after to the client. So the first item is redefine digital consultation. Is that, and again, digital consultation is yours in your wheelhouse. Is not creating their digital social media plan, or you don't have to be really a subject matter expert on their industry. That's a simple process you can apply anytime they need to solve a problem, and then you're able to accomplish that. So next item is standardized offers to products. I kind of highlighted a couple of things from that already, but let's say fixed scope, fixed effort consultation. So again, when we talk about consultation, IT consultation, we talk about like these ERP projects, these huge modernization infrastructure things, and like cloud migrations, and like it can be daunting, but that consultation is not what we talk about. We try to capture what type of consultation most of the clients need, and is generally enough to be able to teach to people and execute. So what's the difference between a service in general and a product in general? Because I want to hone in this idea as a second big idea today, is that each and every product you buy, like it's a pen, iPhone, earplug, has one thing common: it has a fixed scope, right? You see that it's tangible, it's fixed fee. It's not like really you can buy that $10 or $5, this very, very, very item. It's pretty practical, tangible, easier to understand, and it's like buy. So each and every product has this as a property. But when we talk about a service, that's always kind of, oh, what is the scope? Oh, what are you gonna do? Can you send me a proposal? Oh, let's talk through that. It's slower. It's like, oh man, it's like it's a lot of work to actually create those scope and all that. And that's why services are so daunting. That's why it's so hard to scale, because it's just like so conceptual, intangible, like hard to sell, hard to deliver. So the idea is that how we can turn services to like a product, how we are able to move from variable scope to fix that. how we can fix the fee so we can easily send a proposal, how we can fix deliverables, how we can make it more practical, tangible, right? So if you're able to get a little bit of those, then this whole idea is going to be much easier. So let's give you an example. So we captured these two items before, like the assessment and this kind of workshop. Doesn't matter, like you can have your own sets of services here, but you have an outcome. If you can define an outcome, a scope, next steps after, what's the length of how many meetings you have, like you can put a price tag into those. Let's say, oh, Dana, what is this kind of workshop? Oh, come here, watch the video, go through the product description, go through the exact statement of work. We're going to have a project vision statement, timeline plan, execution plan. Oh, what those are, no problem. Those are here. Project vision statement, great. These are the examples, nice. What's the process? 1 meeting, 2 meeting, 3 meeting, 4 meeting, findings meeting, that's it. It's tangible. Doesn't matter how much hour we made on that. We are not selling hours. We are selling an outcome, a project that if you go through this project, you are able to go through with your team, identify like what you need for the CRM system, and we are just facilitating that. That's $1,500 or $2,000 per event. If you have clients, you can give them for free one quarterly, or if they exceed 100 people, you give them one quarterly, whatever. You don't have to kind of ask the money, but giving them $0 invoice for that type of thing is important, so they see the value and actually you are able to have them. So that's the idea, how to actually generalize those type of things which you can do repeatably. You can create these as a repeatable cycles for your organization as well, like monthly, quarterly, even yearly. And you can it's a joker. You can, anytime they have a problem, apply this, and then you're going to get a plan. So that's basically the idea behind that. It's working really well. So let's go through one example on the maturity assessment. You have the deliverables fairly clear. So after we go through this maturity assessment, we have a digital maturity action plan. What is the action plan? Blah, blah, blah. You can see that. What is the score? Blah, blah, blah. You can show them, you can sell them, your people, your account managers can sell that, because it's actually going to be the same as you move. How you get to the deliverables? This is a process. This is a process what we use. We have an orientation meeting. What it is? Oh, nice. An assessment meeting. Okay, nice. Then we do an internal analysis. Get it. And then we present the action plan. Great. So 1, 2, 3, 4 steps to achieve those deliverables. That's not really complex if we think what is the outcome and how we can get through that. In this case, you're able to have a clear value prop. Here's the brief outline what you'll cover on this digital maturity assessment workshop. And it doesn't matter, it can be IT assessment. It's not what I'm trying to show you is that how to make it more tangible. Business review, you can see 3 90-minute consultation sessions. So when they get the appetite through the process and they are asking, hey, Jack, can we do this? Can we do that? You can see, yeah, we can, but based on this process, we don't have resources to that, so we can do it separately or a separate thing, and you are able to show them like the green item, which was the project planning tool, that okay, let's apply that $2,500 project to that to solve that particular issue. So you always have like a stepping stone, which is a scoped service, and now you have clear outcomes. You can show that to a client that that's what you're gonna get, and actually that's what you're gonna pretty much deliver. And if you go through the other section to the point solution, like the project planning, this is the most used item among managed service providers, because if they do that before major technology projects, they can herd the cats into stop doing the free advice for beginning of bigger modernization projects. They are able to kind of have a standard operating procedures ahead of every major project. So again, kickoff meeting, group meeting, interviews, analysis and finalization, and the outcome, somewhat like a project vision plan, which was beginning, sorry about that. So the outcome was a project vision statement, like what this modernization thing is going to be, timeline plan and execution plan. And that's basically completely the input for your proposal. So if they want, now you can give the proposal for the big project. That's basically, again, clear value prop. Again, you can turn these services into products. Again, that's a thinking mindset, and you might have, thousands of questions. What else you can, streamline? But basically, that's how you do that. Now, so if we redefine these whole things, we are saying them. We have these digital projects. Now you have these offers, these little plugs you can give them. The question: how are you going to deliver those? I'm going to give you the same two examples a little bit later, but basically to be able to have a standard operating procedure and scale these consulting service, you need standard operating procedures. Without that, you can't train, you can't deliver. You need efficient delivery mechanisms, software to be able to deliver those particular processes, and you need training, not just education, but soft skill training as well. If you'd like to, let's say, be able to get like a lower level individual to do these type of items, or let's say, do more of those. Now you need somewhat like a structure. So the standard operating procedure, I'm going to show you somewhat like the software as well, and the training, particularly for these examples. So let's pick SOP. Typically, the SOPs are somewhat like charts. Like this is a maturity assessment. I showed that. There are the meeting 1, 2, 3. So you have the meetings, what information you collect, you can track, and after what type of asset you create. So that's like an overview of such a complex consultation. But after that, you can go into the checklist items as well. Let's say you have a kickoff meeting agenda. So now you have the agenda for each and every step. So now your people can actually follow those standard operating procedures when they are on a meeting. So the meeting, they know how to set the project scope, how to set the project management, and now you can create something which is repeatable inside the organization. You can have checklists to go after the session and see, oh, did we capture the potential risks for the project? Why did they fail? Things like that. You have a done or to do, and you can see what's missing, what not. It's just a simple example of each and every step as you go through those has to be somewhat like done. If this is basically a review of like a multiple different plans with budget and like little timeline and who is doing what. So that's basically, again, a little bit of the roadmap inside. Automations like should be there, like our tool is connected with ConnectWise and Autotask with the project tools as well. So these services outputs are going to be input for those items. And the trainings and soft skills are not just for marketer who are marketing these services and sales and advisors, but like the business owner champion. So those needs to be somewhat like unified. And I'm, not saying move from zero to hero, but again, like using somewhat like tools somebody else created, like probably much easier sometimes than build by yourself, but that needs to be happening. Also, like, learning management system, stuff like that to get through. These are our own education materials for those people who are learning those specific items. Okay, so that's needed. And then basically standard marketing delivery and software, which is needed for the success. So again, going back to the original results, like if you can build up for yourself based on these principles, so you have a product, you have a monetization model, you have the scalable deliverable model, then you are able to scale. Other than that, it's going to be always hard. And what's kind of funny that it's an 80%, 20% rule. You shouldn't have each and every consulting type of engagement to be standardized. But those which is related to your projects should be. Which is related to your client onboarding should be, because there's new clients. Which is like creating your, let's say, higher level VCIO type of deals should be, because those are what you do with every client at least once or twice, right? So if you have this capacity, then you're able to unlock many problems in your organization. You can make money on that, you can hire people, they are driving revenues, you're able to cut the responsibility from the client, and it's not everything is all over the place. So that's basically, if you're interested more on how to access these, what that means, our company is actually Digital Maturity Advisors. We are teaching MSPs, marketing agencies, to somewhat like be future-proof, to make sure that the ability of scale, market, and sell to our clients are ready. You can go to the resources. You're going to see a couple of things here. There are like a future-proof MSP video series by my colleague and CEO Elaine is going through like 5-minute videos about different concepts. Highly recommend that. The ebook is fairly good. I wrote it not because of that, because I learned for years, and it's kind of 50 pages, not that big of a deal. I do believe we have the recordings of other webinars as well available here. Yeah, so you can go and see what we have to say on the commodity trap or the sales and marketing piece. But if you are open-minded, go and have a chat. Honestly, like we love talking to MSPs, and like we have a future-proof MSP strategy meeting, 45 minutes, you go through the assessment, you can pinpoint where you have bottlenecks on your sales or marketing or the scalability. And then Lane is a super nice guy. He's going to write you up for something to deal with. If you want to join to our advisors, you can do that too. Basically, that's you can go through the solutions and see what we do. We typically train and certify these individuals. So if you would like to use these methods and use the software, we train your people, certify them, and they are able to deliver these services to your clients. And everybody's happy, your client's happy, you're making more money, and that's just basically easy. So that's it. I'm not sure what else to share. I try to answer all these questions through the items, but I'm going to wait a couple of minutes if you can get more on that. Okay. Very cool. Good question. Okay, so the question is, how this is different from the VCIO service? Oh, nice. Okay, good catch. So the idea is the following, that your VCIO is pretty much a non-working item, because most of the industry started giving away VCIO services for free. So it's like part of the MSP package and things like that. And this is really not a VCIO type of engagement. It's more as an IT manager type of engagement, what you do, not for the client, but because like they need somewhat like a management and strategy and things like that. But if you think about that's the top of this range, because mostly the VCIO scope is planning the infrastructure, roadmap, budget, and things like that. So it's not looking into any of those business processes, let's say, or the application of the cybersecurity or those type of things. It's somewhat like a cybersecurity execution, right? But most of these are kind of stretching that. So if you create like a different bucket for that, we can actually be a little bit more curious. The typical thing what you can create this demarcation line is most of the VCIO generated plans not require the client's participation or decision. So if you go through like a cloud migration project, you probably ask a bunch of questions from them, but that's your decision that how you put them to AWS or Microsoft or whatever. That's a technology project. Most of the VCIO generated items are solely delivered by your team. It's not cross-functional with others. It's not that complex. That's why you just basically do the roadmap. So yeah. Okay, so how many hours you put behind those project planning? Okay, right. So I think wait a sec. Yeah, okay, got it. So the question is related to this one. So this is what we use for digital project implementation preparation. So that's the scope is like doing one digital project, like it can be an MSP's project. And this is, we give these $2,500 per project to that for different reasons. One is that you are able to pretty much go through that as a discounting exercise, meaning that you can say that's $2,500, but you are old client, I give you $1,500 off, you get like 1,000. We all know that you are not going to do that for this money. We just need the gate, so they are not going to get it for free, and you can some reimbursement if the project is not going to happen. But obviously, your goal is this, to implement that very project most of the time, right? So when you go through the process, let's see what's behind that. So again, we can walk through quickly to go to the website. That's much easier, and think about, you see exactly. Kickoff meeting, 90 minutes, 2.5, 3.5 hours, 3 hours more, 6.5 hours, 7.5 hours of meeting. You can put like 3 hours of homework, 10. It's going to be pretty much 12 hours, right? Max out. And we calculated everything based on $200 per hour effective rate. So that's basically, that's why it's $2,500, because we know that's going to be like 10, 12 hours of a time of you. You don't have to disclose that, and you're never going to disclose that to them. So that's basically the answer for that. Any more questions you guys might have? Oh, thanks. Great job. What was great job? Wogan. Awesome. Thanks for the kudos. You might understood my Hunglish. Lane was off today, so I had to do this. Thank you. Guys, if nothing else comes up, thank you very much for listening. Again, go meet with Lane, have fun. That's gonna be more obvious that most MSPs have to, step up in this game and give more to clients and make money along the way. So thank you very much, and good scaling for your consulting services. Thank you.